In today's video, I'm going to show you guys exactly how to fold up one of these canvas dome tents and fit it back inside the original bag. Now that is always a tricky thing, and I'm going to share with you today some of the tips and tricks that I've learned on how we can get that done. Welcome back to the Burton Builds campsite. Let's get started. We start off by removing the skull cap or the rainfly and setting it aside to be folded later. Then I'll unroll and partially zip close the inner door and also roll down the outer canvas door. However, I'm not going to zip these closed just yet. Now I'll go ahead and start unclipping the tent from the frame. You'll notice that I'm starting at the bottom of each pole and working my way up the pole, removing the clips as high as I can reach up each of the sides. Now a quick tip here, it is a lot easier to start removing the clips from the bottom and working your way upwards. So I'll work my way around the tent and unclip the other three sides. Once that's done, I'll remove the pegs that are holding the side of the tent down. Just take note though that I'm going to leave the corner pegs in place for now, and you'll see why this is very important a bit later on in the video. Next is to stand in the doorway, reach up to the center of the tent, pull it down and remove the remaining clips that are holding the tent up. Once that's done, I'll lower the frame, pull it apart, fold it up and pop it back into the bag. A bit of a side note here, please be careful when lowering the frame, as sometimes the legs can pop out and they can kind of spring and bounce around, and the ends of these legs could easily injure stray children or even knock over your beer. And of course, nobody likes wasting beer. Also, check out the tips and tricks video. I'll leave a link in the description and I'll share with you what we can do to stop these poles from becoming a tangled mess when packing them back up. I'm also going to start taking count of the pegs and popping them back into their bag so none of them get lost. Now comes the fun part, folding up the tent small enough so that we can get it back into the original bag. But before we do, if you guys are liking the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing so that you don't miss out on any of the future videos. So I'm going to start off by zipping the outer canvas door and the inner door closed. However, I'm not going to completely zip close the inner door. I'm leaving the bottom open so that as the tent is being folded and rolled, the air has got somewhere to escape. Now I'm going to go ahead, grab the center of the tent at the top and pull it as far over as possible to one of the sides. Then I'm going to give it a bit of a shake, making sure that both the edges and the entire side is nice and flat. Then I'm going to take the center point once again and pull it all the way over towards the front of the tent where the door is. Again, I'm going to give it a bit of a shake, making sure the edges and the entire back of the tent are flat. Then I'm going to grab the center point once again and pull it all the way over to the other side of the tent. Again, give it a shake, making sure that all the folds are nice and flat and that the edges and the entire side are also flat. So now I'll grab the center again and pull it as far back as possible. And what we are left with is a neatly folded, but most importantly, a flat tent. Now, a quick tip here, as you go along making these folds, make sure that each of the folds are neat and flat. If they are left standing up or a bit puffy, the tent won't roll up as compact and it may not fit back into the bag as easily. Next step is to walk around, throw all of the ropes to the inside of the tent and remove the tent pegs at each of the four corners. The reason we are only pulling the corner pegs out now is because we want to keep the base of the tent as square and secure as possible so that when we were previously folding each side, we had something solid to pull against. If we were to pull the pegs out before making the folds, you'll end up pulling the tent out of shape and it's not going to fold up as flat or as easily. Next is to fold one of the sides all the way over to the center line of the tent, and I'll do the same for the other side. As I do this, I'm making sure everything remains neat and flat. And now I'll take one half and fold it completely over the other half. Let us know in the comments if you're finding this method useful, and please share with us if you maybe have a better way of folding a tent. Lastly, I'll make a small fold at the back of the tent and continue folding it over and over again. As I make each fold or roll, I'll kneel on the tent to force any of the air out. This way, once folding is complete, the tent is really compact, and as you can see, it easily fits back into the bag. Now, if you haven't done so already, the last piece to fold up is the skull cap, and you can pretty much freeball this and fold it any way you like. As long as it's folded flat, it'll probably fit into the bag. So basically, I'm going to fold it in half twice, then fold the legs into the center and fold it in half twice again. And as you can see, everything fits easily into the bag.
So there we have it. You guys can see that it's actually not that difficult to fold one of these canvas dome tents really nice and flat back into a compact size and get it back into its original bag. Of course, the tent poles have got their own bag which don't fit into these original bags, but you know, that's just the nature of generally these canvas tents. If you guys want to see how this tent was set up specifically by a person like myself, I'm short, I did it all alone. It is possible. There is another video out about that already. I'll leave a link to it in the description. Go check that out. It's actually quite interesting. And if you guys are interested in some of the tips and tricks about setting up these tents and the tips and tricks that I used and I've learned over the years about taking these tents down and packing them up neatly, go watch this video over here. I think you guys will like it. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.